Hey, quickly before the video starts, I'm gonna explain why there is part 1 in the title. So, currently, there is very basic features to the projectile launcher, so there's not much you can do with it yet. So, there will be a part 2. I will upload another video when a lot more stuff comes out, like the gun handle, and probably like damage to AI and a bunch of different projectiles. But for now, it's really basic. So yeah, that's all for now. Let's get on to the video. Hey, it's from VR. I am going to be showing you how to make very basic stuff with the projectile launcher because, well, you can't make much advanced stuff with it so far, but I'll show you the cool stuff you can do with it so far. Anyways, let's get into how to make it. So, we're going to be making something sort of like this. Something like this shoots projectiles. You can really customize it as, like, a lot. But, we're not going to be doing just this. We're going to be making a few different things. Now, I'm going to get rid of that so that I can show you how to make it. First, grab your maker pen. Anyways, so let's go to Tools, Create, go to Palette, and then go to the search here. And then we're going to search up all the items we will need. So let's get a trigger handle. Then we can delete that and get a clamp. We can get a projectile launcher. One thing to note before I spawn this in, you need, at the time of recording this, you need to have beta tools on. I'll show you, like beta counted on. I'll show you how to turn that on right now. So go to your watch, go to this room, go to settings, scroll down, and then go to allow creative tools beta content and turn that on. And then it'll save the room and you'll be able to create like beta content. Anyways, that is all we will need for this first demo, which is a handheld gun. So let's select this, move it up, or you can just grab it and move it kind of where this thing is, like not the big part, the small part. Move it to like where the trigger on the gun, on the handle is, to right about the barrel there. And then we're gonna go freeze it. And then go to wire, take the body of the clamp, wire it to the trigger handle, and then wire the projectile launcher to the top. And then we can move these. Let's just move them right there. This is really simple, by the way. So, primary action pressed, wired that to fire forward. Oop, that's to fire forward. And then from there, you can move these out of the way. Go to configure the projectile launcher. You can select anything you want, any like projectile, the count, the speed of how it comes out, and how fast it'll shoot out, the lifetime in seconds, and then the spread. So you can also enable gravity, but once you've configured the settings you like, you can unfreeze the trigger handle, and if it shoots backwards, the projectile launcher is too close to the handle, so you can just move that a little bit. There we go. And you can also configure the projectile launcher. You can also turn off sound and adjust how much damage it does. So if I turn off sound, we'll just hear this. But that's the handheld gun portion done. So now we're going to do a turret. We're going to make like an automatic turret. So we're going to get the projectile launcher out. You can go to Circuits v2. You can either get like an interaction volume. You can get that. You can get a button. You can get, if you want, you can get a trigger volume. You can get a toggle button. Anything that really can output an execution, which is a red tab like this. And when you wire it, it should say EXEC. Basically, anything that has one of those pins is able to, like, you can use it with this. So, let's make it with a turret, and then I'll show you how to make it with the other things in a minute. But we can do it with let's do it with the toggle button first, and then we'll do the button, and then those two. So, grab the toggle button, or whatever you want to use. Go to Create, Palette, Circuits v2, and then commonly used should be delay, or if you can't find it in commonly used, you can go to search. Now spawn in the delay, and go to wire. Now we will wire pressed to run, and then run to fire forward, and then after delay to run, and then cancel on this side to released, and then set the delay to whatever the fire rate you want it to be is. So if you want the fire rate to shoot every 10th of a second, set it to 0.1. So, and then configure the projectile launcher to whatever settings you want. Like, let's just do paintball. Let's do like red. Speed, sure, all the way up, lifetime. And then, yeah, we'll just turn it on to see how it goes. See, there it is. You can see the projectile there. You can turn it off by just turning it off. That's why I like the toggle button, because it's easier to turn on and off. It's kind of hard to see, so let's turn it to cork. So yeah, it works like that. It's pretty easy. And I'll show you how to do it with these. So for buttons and all of these other ones, if you want to have a way to cancel it shooting, you're gonna need to have two of them. Unless it's like, yeah, you're gonna need to have two of them, because if you have one button, you can only have one. You'll have to have one button that starts it and one that cancels it. So as you can see, you can't cancel it. So you're gonna need two buttons, and then the other button, if you have two buttons, just gonna clone this here. Get this, and then wire the one that you are not using to cancel. Whoopsie. Did I? Alright. So this one. So you can like configure them, but there is a way to make it so that you only have one button. There is a way, but it's kind of weird. So if you take released and put it to cancel, you'll need to have to hold it. But like as soon as you let go, it stops firing. Like in most cases. Sometimes it doesn't work because I don't know why. But that is a way to use the button. Let's go to these. But these are basically the same, so I'm not going to do both of them. I'm just going to do one of them. They're the same. So I'm only going to do the interaction volume because I feel like that is cooler. So player entered and on use are the same. So if you want to use the trigger volume, wire the player entered if I use the on use, which is pretty simple, but if you're confused, the on use is the same as player entered. So we're gonna wire the on use to run, and it will get loud. So actually, I'll put the trigger volume as the stop, so you can see that it works basically the same. So when I grab this is how interaction volumes work. If you grab them, that's how they work. So that's when they output a signal, when someone grabs them. And trigger volumes are just when someone or something enters it. Anyways, that's how to make that type of turret. I'm going to demonstrate a way to make a turret that follows someone around, so like an actual turret. So we're going to go to search. We're going to get a look at, and then we're going to take this look at, and we're going to make it so that we're going to go to move. We're going to move it back. This is just like the easiest way. Just make it so that that top pin is like basically in the very middle of the barrel of the projectile launcher. And since look at are kind of broken right now, you're going to need to get out a variable chip from Circuits V1, go to Math Chips, get a variable chip, and then we're going to go to Tools, Configure, set the R value to 1, or R signal, and then wire the R to on-off. And then I think this should work without a roll. It might need a roll though. Yeah, I think it needs a roll. I'm gonna make a roll really quick. So go to Game Chips, get a roll chip, spawn it in, configure it, just name it, whatever. It doesn't matter. Let's just say roll. Name it whatever you want. And then since we're just gonna name it roll. Don't know why it. Enter, and then yeah. So now it's named roll. So now we'll go to this room, settings, permissions, and whatever permission you want to have the roll, you can go to miscellaneous, auto assign game roles, add roll, and then put the roll name. Okay, now you can configure the look at to look at the roll, and then you can put smoothing amount if you want. But now we're going to take the top pin and wire it to the projectile launcher. I think that, yeah. So now the projectile launcher is looking at us. Now, if you want, you can make it like the look at. You can make the look at. You can make it track the head, hands, right hand, left hand. I'm gonna make it track my left hand. So now it's tracking this. But if you want a way to have it shoot, which you probably do, there's many different ways, but I'm just gonna use a trigger volume V2 to start this. We're gonna use the same setup as when we had the turret. You know what? I'm gonna just turn this off. So I'm gonna set the R signal to 0. So now it's off. And now what we can do is take these two, and if you don't want to use a trigger volume, any execution pin here will work. And we're going to use the same setup as we did with the turret. So we're going to go to palette, delay, and then we're going to do the same thing that we did there. So player entered, run, or run to fire forward, after delay to run, and then delay seconds to whatever you want the fire rate to be. I'm just going to make like a shotgun or something, but just for demonstration purposes, I'm going to turn the sound effects off because it sometimes covers my voice and you probably need to hear me. So I'm just going to set the spread to something like that. Count, whatever. Paintball. Whatever you want the settings to be. And that's really it. So now we can turn the variable chip R signal to on, and then once we enter this, it starts shooting at my hand, or whatever you set it to. So now you can have the thing shoot at whatever you set it to, any projectile, and whatever you want. So the next demonstration and the last demonstration for this video is going to be a firework, is like a way to make a firework. So to make a firework, it sounds weird that you're going to use like a projectile, but it works. So go to palette, CV2 gadgets, find your projectile launcher, get it, and then we're going to set it to like paintball, and then we're going to set the count up to the max, lifetime, max, spread, max, and then that, gravity enabled, and then I'm going to copy this and make like a little shape. So I'm going to make like a really basic shape, but you can make the shape whatever you want. So I'm going to do this really quick. I'm not going to make it perfect, but just good enough for the video demonstration. Alright, now I got this basic shape. I'm going to grab all these control panels. It just doesn't matter the order. Just put them all like this. So with these pins on this side, and then these pins on, like, facing, it's pretty self-explanatory. So we got them all in a line. And then once we have them all in a line, we can get a button or anything with the execution pin. Doesn't matter. And then if you want to have it automatically go, you can get a delay chip and do the same thing that we were doing earlier. But I'm not going to use a delay chip. But if you want to, once again, just use the same setup we used earlier with the turret. So we're going to wire pressed, or the whatever execution pin you want, to fire forward. And then I'm going to make it so that how long no, that would require a delay chip. So I'm going to just make it pressed, fire forward, and then wire the fire forward on this side to the next fire forward, and so on, all down the line. And then if you want it to loop, oh yeah, I guess you didn't really need to have a delay chip if you wanted to loop. You could have just wired the last one to the first one, but it doesn't matter. What I said is said. So I'm going to select all of these. I'm going to like put them in the air. Actually, hold on, I'm going to do the other side so that we can see it when we press the button. So it's up there, and then boom, 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 boom. It ignites all of them at the same time, but corks seem to work the best for this. So I'm going to set them all to cork real quick. Okay, I set them all to cork. Now let's try it again. Boom, 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 boom. And so you can really do whatever you want. And yeah, so that is the video. I really hope you enjoyed. My next video I upload will probably be the part 2, but it might not, depending on how long it takes for them to add more to the projectile launcher. But that is going to be it for part 1. If you enjoy this, I don't like saying this, but if you did enjoy, please consider subscribing, because I upload content like this probably not very regularly, but regularly enough. Like, when I upload videos, it's usually about something big that is very useful in a lot of scenarios. But anyways, that is going to be it for part 1. I'll see you later.